A federal judge rules NSA surveillance unconstitutional.
In other NSA news, NSA phone surveillance program likely unconstitutional, federal judge rules. Well, thank you for following the Constitution. Judge Richard Leon declared that the mass collection of metadata probably violates the Fourth Amendment, which prohibits unreasonable searches and seizures, and was almost Orwellian. He said James Madison, the architect of the U.S. Constitution, would be aghast. And somebody else who was aghast by this situation is Larry Klayman, who went on the Alex Jones radio show today to talk about his own harassment at the hands of the NSA.
FreedomWatchUSA.org. Larry Klayman was the founder of Judicial Watch. I remember interviewing him back in the mid-90s, right to 2000. Then when Bush got in, he criticized and sued over unconstitutional activities there. And now he has really turned up the heat with Obama, because it's just the orgy of Constitution violations has become dictator level. And even mainline news is having to admit that. So he's a real trailblazer, and I'm very thankful that he was able to give us 10 minutes today. He joins us live. Here's the headline. CNN, judge, NSA domestic phone data mining, unconstitutional. Who brought the case? Who won it? When everybody else has been failing, Larry Klayman. And then if you continue, Politico says Larry Klayman crows on NSA win. We hit the mother lode. Yeah, I'm glad he's proud of defending the Republic. And then a stunning revelation from man who sued NSA. Dr. Corsi writes about it. And we also learned that they sent out emails that he didn't actually send out to let him know they were watching him. That's the good old boys at the National Security Agency that we know are spying on the Tea Party, the Associated Press, pro-life groups, giving the data to the Justice Department and the DEA and others to harass the liberty movement. Those of us that aren't authoritarians. We don't like fascism. We don't like socialism. We don't like communism. Everybody else can live under that horrible tyranny, like North Korea. We want to live in America. And we're not terrorists, and we're not the bad guys for being right about the NSA spying. So joining us is Larry Klayman to break down his stunning victory in the federal court. Please tell us about the case, the ruling, what happened, the harassment you've been under, and where this is going. Larry, thank you.
Alex, thank you for those kind words, fellow patriot.
You bet. We'll break it down.
Yeah, let me tell you about the case. Just within a day or so, when Snowden made his revelation, we filed 2 class action lawsuits. I'm a plaintiff. I made myself the guinea pig, put myself on the chopping block as both lawyer and plaintiff, with our client Charlie Strange, who you know about. I think you've had him on the show, who is the father of Michael Strange, an NSA, not coincidentally, cryptologist.
Larry, your phone's a little low. Speak up for me. Thank you.
To Navy SEAL Team 6. And Michael Strange, died in very suspicious circumstances. There's a congressional investigation underway. Charlie has been very critical of the NSA, of the Obama administration, and the military. So we brought lawsuits. And the minute that we brought these lawsuits against Verizon and all the other cell phone companies and the internet providers like Google and Yahoo and you name it, we started to receive these text messages that we never sent. And, were in fact harassing. And it was clear that the NSA and the government and the Obama administration was trying to scare us from going forward. But that being said, and that's what Jerome Corsi, my friend and client, wrote about at WorldNet Daily, where I'm also a columnist. We went forward with the case. We filed motions for preliminary injunction. We argued them in front of the court on November 18th. You can see the transcript and all the pleadings at freedomwatchusa.org, freedomwatchusa.org. And we told the judge that our government has broken away from the people, that it no longer represents us, that the executive and legislative branches of government have become tyrannical under Obama, and frankly under the Republicans as well, because they've gone along with this outrage. This is the biggest violation of constitutional rights in American history, that our founding fathers would be turning in the graves to see this, and that he was the last hope of the American people to step in, to stop this outrage, to stop this criminal violation of law. And the judge obviously accepted our arguments, and we take our hat off to him. There aren't many judges in this country, Alex, that would have done what he did, because most of them play it safe politically because they want to get a higher appointment.
Well, let's give you some brief
he's a hero.
Sure, let's give you some brief credit, then we can get back into what happened, when the ruling came down, where it goes from here, and the harassment you went under. But I read your suit or looked over it and then read your comments in the press and what the judge said. Clearly, you spelled out the truth. These other lawsuits are real mealy-mouthed, and we want the judge to tell us if they think it's bad. As you know, in law, we need to declare the facts and stand on the Constitution, common law, common sense, and the moral high ground. So I think that's why your suit was also successful. But please go ahead.
Well, and you and I are a lot alike. We tell it as it is, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, we don't have time to start mincing words. This country's headed down the drain. And we live in a police state where no one can send an email, a text message, a telephone call without thinking that they're being surveyed. And that has a coercive effect. It enslaves the American people and keeps us down. So we can't criticize the ruling establishment. And that's what I told the judge. And he obviously agreed with me. And if people want to read that decision, it's at freedomwatchusa.org. So, Alex, we don't have time here. And if there are more judges like this that will step in, that will protect the American people from the Obama administration or whoever occupies the White House, and Congress, Democrats and Republicans. We've seen people like Peter King running in interference for Obama on this. Unless that happens, we're in a state of revolution. This country's going to explode. I don't want to see that happen. So I challenge the judge, and I challenge other judges to be courageous and protect the American people. And I'm going to do my part by filing lawsuits, by engaging in civil disobedience, Gandhi style, whatever it takes to save this country. And you're doing your part. And you're doing the country a great service because you talk clearly, and we have to talk clearly.
And you're taking action. You just had a rally there in D.C. saying Obama needs to step down. I mean, now is the time. And, you know, I've seen some of the so-called left, like at The Guardian, saying, oh, the gadfly Larry Klayman, you know, took on the NSA. Hey, you've got the courage. You did it. You're the one getting your emails broken into. And then the left can't even say good job for all our rights. They've got to make a sniveling joke. And the only reason I bring that up is that we have to come together as human beings, as Americans and people, and say, come on, this is spying beyond 1984, and we need to support everybody. I've supported liberals that have been against the NSA spying. It's time to come together. Tell me about what the judge said in the ruling, where it goes from here, and what happened to your emails.
Well, the judge, first of all, ordered that all of our metadata of Larry Klayman and Charles Strange be destroyed. And we want that same order for all of the Americans, 300 million, who've had their homes broken into. You know, Richard Nixon, he only broke into the Watergate office complex. He had to resign. Obama and his Republican and Democrat enablers have broken into 300 homes. So the judge said, destroy all that data. And he said, you know, I'll let you go up and appeal government, but if you don't toe the line and follow my order, and my order is upheld, and it comes back, there's going to be hell to pay, and you're going to be sanctioned. And I'll tell you something. We'll assist that because if now they're on notice that what they're doing is criminal, it's illegal, it's a violation of our Constitution. And if they continue to do this and we catch them doing it, and our orders are upheld, and we're confident they will be, I will file motions to have them held in criminal contempt and thrown in jail. And whether the courts will do that's another question, but if the courts don't do that, then the American people are in the streets. Because we can't live under a George Orwell 1984 Atlas Shrugged world. That's not the United States. That's the Soviet Union. That's China. That's not the United States.
As a top constitutional lawyer who's had probably more victories than anybody I know against tyranny the last 20-plus years, I've followed you and had the honor to talk to you, Larry. And again, if you just tuned in, the man who just got the only federal ruling out there against the NSA, the only sanity in years, Larry Klayman joins us right now, freedomwatchusa.org. I had him on a month ago saying, join his organization, donate. This guy files real lawsuits for real results. So if people don't go there and donate, which he's not asking you to do here on air, I'm bringing it up, you're crazy. I mean, Larry Klayman just continues to be the real deal and to really get the word across. I need to ask you, though, looking at this, where do you expect it to go now? And talk about precedent as a constitutional lawyer, because if we don't stop Obama acting like a dictator, it sets a precedent. If the NSA stuff comes out now and they don't get reversed, it sets a precedent. What's coming next? That's what I'm concerned about. Can you explain to people this principle historically, that it doesn't stay in one place? Things get better or worse, and if we don't reverse it, we're going to hell in a handbasket?
We've already gone to hell in a handbasket, Alex. We're hanging by a thread, and it's time for people who are knowledgeable to take action. And this one judge stepped forward, but he's the only judge I've seen in recent years. Judge Royce Lamberth was like that during the Clinton years. He hasn't got one of my cases lately. I pray that he will. He's a great judge, too. He's a colleague of Leon. But there aren't many like that. And we really have to educate, and we really have to show the American people what's at issue. And what's ironic, you mentioned the left. I've been getting more calls from the left in the last few days than from the right. And, you know, they're two-faced. Behind our back, they criticize us, but to our face, they're praising us because there's nobody on the left that is doing what I'm doing, what Freedom Watch is doing. And they appreciate that, but they won't give us any credit. So they have to take shots at us, like in The Guardian or Politico or whatever. And I'm used to that. It rolls off my back. I could care less. The point is that we want results. And I'm not equating myself with Jesus Christ. Hardly. I'm not in his league, obviously.
No, but I'm holding you up as somebody that took action and won. And I mean, this is all of us having our rights robbed. They've come in our houses. Well, they've come in our businesses.
Absolutely, Alex. And what I'm saying is that, you know, they took shots at Jesus too, right? He was the Son of God.
Exactly.
So they can take it and stick it. And we're going to do what we have to do. And we're not going to be deterred. And I hope the judges will follow the lead of Judge Leon, because he is an American hero. And you're an American hero. And anybody who speaks clearly is an American hero now. And I don't care if you're right, left, or center. We're all in it together.
Anybody that challenges the attempt to chill political speech, in the 5 minutes we've got left, and I know you've got to go, Larry Klayman, there'll be something you wish you would have added after you leave. So you've got the floor. Tell us about your emails getting messed with, according to Corsi, if that's accurate. I'm sure it is. And then where all this goes and what we can do and other points about this case.
Well, we know, Alex, you know, that when the government wants to get you to back off, they send people to follow you home, to photograph your house, to do whatever they can do to make calls, you know, clicks on it. I mean, I've gone through that for decades. This is just the latest gambit by the government. They sent text messages that I never sent to people that I'm close with and that I work with. And they did the same thing with regard to Charlie Strange, getting him to believe that he was getting emails from his dead son. And the poor guy breaks down in tears at the slightest mention of Michael being killed. They're cruel people. They're evil. And frankly, they're criminals. And they should be thrown in prison. That's where they belong.
Wow.
This guy Clapper, who lied in front of Congress, if it had been you or me, we'd already be gone. I mean, they got to go after, you know, baseball pitchers and others for lying to Congress. But this guy is subjugating the rights of the American people and enslaving us with this guy Clapper and the others at the NSA, enslaving us with an Orwellian society. And he walks off scot-free. Yeah, because the establishment does high fives and divides up the money in Washington. They don't care if the American people get it.
But I don't want to glaze over that. The father of the dead Navy SEAL, clearly a cover-up there, they're messing with him. Give us this. That's incredible, Larry.
No, it is incredible. We got the proof when we gave it to the court.
Wow.
And we gave it to the court. This is what they do, Alex. You know that.
Oh, I know, yeah.
You know,
I talked to a national...
Watch, they were tapping our windows. I brought somebody in to confirm that. People were in front of our office in white guys in aviator glasses in an African-American neighborhood following my people home. You know, this is what they do. You can't be deterred. You can't be scared of them. If you walk down the street and think the dog's going to bite you, he will bite you. So
yeah, they don't do that to me anymore because it's something that happened many years ago. I can't help it. I go completely ape.
No, and that's what the American people are subjected to. We live in a gulag-type society. It is little different in this regard than the former Soviet Union or China today. And we can't tolerate that. And the judge made reference to that. This is a complete violation of the Founding Fathers' principles upon which this nation was founded.
Well, I know even prominent Democrats have been coming out saying Clapper should be indicted because he clearly lied to Congress and said we don't grab any data of Americans. It's just a total fraud. Larry Klayman, let me ask you this specifically. What do you expect now to happen in this court case? Do you think the rogue elements of the government that are stealing all our data illegally with our tax money, do you think they'll start backing off because of this judge? Or will the judge, you know, have a kayak accident?
I hope not. I pray not. But, you know, the government will be the government. And we've asked the court to set up a very strong monitoring mechanism where we can take discovery. I'll be filing for a security clearance. I had one when I was the Justice Department prosecutor. So we can get into discovery and find out what's going on. And hopefully we'll learn even more than what Snowden knows at this point. But this is just the beginning. This case is going to trial now. The judge found a likelihood of success. The government can't get rid of it, only if they do a Hail Mary in
Briefly tell us about the case, for those that don't know. I mean, what is it, encapsulate it.
The case is very simple. It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment against unreasonable searches and seizures. The First Amendment for chilling free speech and rights of association, because if you think the government's watching you, you're not going to want to express yourself freely. And due process, because heretofore, to use a legal phrase, companies like Verizon and the government went in front of the FISC court, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, and we had no right to even know what was going on. And that's why this judge, in exercising his legitimate powers, is so important, because he has checked the FISC court. He's checked his fellow justices. Judges. He's been extremely brave. And, I pray that nothing happens.
Wow. Well, I talked to a national talk show host last week who didn't want to go public with it because, it sounds crazy, but now it's not because it's so mainstream. He gets threatened, but also the fake texts, the fake emails. Years ago, when I would go cover Bilderberg or go cover a DNC or RNC event, my wife would get phone calls, but there'd be no number on the caller ID, just no number. And then they would, women saying, oh, hi, I'm calling for my boyfriend. He got me pregnant. Then when my wife said, I know that's not true. You've done this before. A guy would come on and say, hope your whole family dies. Saw you walking the dog this morning. And then you realize, wow, it's really the government or someone in our phone system, because the number's not showing up, or you'll have family in the hospital. They'll wait till something bad happens, and they'll call up and say, I hope your dad dies. And it didn't get to me over the years, so it hadn't happened in a while. But still, unless you've experienced it, people don't realize that's the final proof that evil has taken over the government, Larry. And I notice you've gotten more stalwart and hardcore over the years as you've been persecuted. Because if you're not a coward, this stuff only makes you mad. I mean, but I guess they want us to talk about it then and scare everybody. What do you think the intimidation tactic is, guys in aviator sunglasses?
To get people to be scared and to back off. You remember Vince Foster when he died in Fort Marcy Park?
Yes.
Years ago during the Clinton administration, and some people said it was a suicide, other people said he was murdered. He was the boyfriend of Hillary Clinton at the time. And many people thought that Hillary, put a hit out on him because he was about ready to tell the truth about what they all were doing. He was actually thought to be an ethical guy, as opposed to another number of people in the White House. Well, the people who were witnesses to what happened at Fort Marcy Park, found the body, they were followed around Washington by FBI agents and other agents to scare them, to keep them quiet. And there are a lot of good people at the FBI, I might add. I've represented some of them, but not those people that were following him around. And this is a government tactic, and it works, where they stick the IRS on you, where they do this or they do that. And, the American people have had enough. As Popeye used to say, enough is enough and enough is too much. It's done. It's over. Case closed. This government does not represent the people. And that's why I've gotten hardened over the years, because, I believe in a government that functions. It isn't on the back of the American people. It isn't persecuting us. It protects us from foreign enemies. It leaves us alone otherwise. And our government has become dominant of every aspect of our life. In some states, you can't even have somebody pet your dog or brush him at a dog hotel unless they've got a license. I mean, it's ridiculous. Oh,
no, they're now all over the country telling people they can't have lemonade stands, you can't wash your car in your own yard, you can't have a garden. I mean, this is a martial law, a nanny state. A 6-year-old kisses another girl, she likes it. It's puppy love. They charge, they try to charge him with sexual abuse as a sex offender. A kid plays with a Nerf gun in their backyard, they get kicked out of school. I mean, this government...
You can't spank your kid or you'll go to prison. I mean, that's where we are today.
Wow,
so
Larry Klayman.
It's out of control. It's out of control. Obama's a socialist, borderline communist. He's sympathetic to Muslim interests. He does everything he can to destroy Israel. And frankly, we have somebody in the White House who is evil, plain and simple. And we got Republicans in Congress, they're just cashing in on the money. They're happy that people are losing their insurance. They're happy that people and cancer patients are dying because, hey, this is going to help us win the next election. But you know what? You knew about this the whole time. You have experts. You let this happen. You let Obama do it. And they're all in league together. They're just dividing up the riches in Washington. And that's where our country is today. And people
that's right.
That. And they've had it. They're going to have it because we're going to educate them. And I want to do it peacefully and nonviolently, and we can do it. If Gandhi can do it in India, we can do it here.
All right. Well, Larry Klayman, freedomwatchusa.org. Folks, read it all there. Get the actual lawsuit, the documents, not what the establishment regurgitates or tries to twist. Larry Klayman, thank you so much for the time. We'll talk to you soon.
God bless, Alex. Thank you.
All right, have a great New Year coming up. We don't talk again before the New Year. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, you can say what you want about that guy, but the harassment he's been through, the takeover of Judicial Watch away from him, everything they've done to stop him, they don't like him because he really believes in what he's doing. And none of us are perfect, but he really believes in what he's doing, and he's a good guy. Has a lot of courage.